Have you heard? Proactive is better than ever. Stay tuned for a 100% risk-free million-bottle launch of all-new Proactive Plus. Do you have troubled skin? Acne? Well, we have great news. With Proactive Plus, blemishes can heal faster, and you can help prevent breakouts better. Be one of the first to try it by calling 1-800-761-6145, because we're letting 1 million people try Proactive Plus 100% risk-free. And get our fast-acting purifying mask and perfect skin ebook free when you call right now, 1-800-761-6145. You heard it. Be one of the first to try our best solution ever from the #1 name in acne care. You'll receive a 60-day trial, 100% risk-free, plus a free purifying mask and perfect skin ebook. You won't risk a penny. Get your 100% risk-free trial of Proactive Plus, including 2 free extras. Call 1-800-761-6145. 1-800-761-6145.
Fink's Car Care, with locations in Chesapeake and Portsmouth, is your dedicated Tire Stars dealer. At Fink's, their experienced staff specializes in brakes, steering, suspension, tune-ups, oil changes, and much more. They also handle rebuilt engines and transmissions, and they're your destination for tires, rims, and towing as well. Fink's is located at 2236 South Military Highway at 2711 Victory Boulevard. For more information, log on to finkscarcare.com or call 545-3573.
Be ye seeking rare and valuable coins? Storm the castle, matey. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake, that is. Silver and gold coins, U.S. coins with free verbal offers, and they always be on the lookout for those rare U.S. coins. Set sail for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, Tuesday through Saturday, and always online at newcastlecollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles.
Chesapeake, Virginia, 1650 AM WHKT presents Sports Scene. Sports Scene features local, regional, and nationally acclaimed guests and excellent interviews. Follow Sports Scene on Twitter at Greg Bick and at GJBTV.com. Now here is Greg Bickaveris.
And thank you very much, Ken Johnson, on this beautiful June 4th, 2014 in Hampton Roads. Glad you're with us. This is Sports Scene, right here every Wednesday from 12 to 1. Also, don't forget sports highlights on nnpstv.com. This is a sports interview show right here on the radio, also on News Talk 1650 AM, and also tunein.com. Type in WHKT to listen on your phone, your computer, anywhere in the world. That's tunein.com. Type WHKT. This is your home for CBS News. Tell your friends about 1650. You can find me and interact on Twitter at Greg Bick, at Sports Highlight, or GJBTV. Thank you to our military and also our state troopers for doing a great job each and every day, and also the local police officers, firemen, and also the first responders 24/7. And our hats go off to the good people in Norfolk for all that you did for the fallen police officer. Ken and I will talk about that a little bit later during the show. Guest lineup presented by Newcastle Coins and Collectibles. Phone line presented by Old Town Tavern in Hampton. Sponsors this month on WHKT for me include Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, Old Town Tavern, Fink's Car Care, Spaghetti Eddie's, Battlefield Guns and Ammo, Crawl Space Doors as well. For more, log on to GJBTV.com. Hit the marketplace sponsors as well. And if you want to call later, save the number 454-1650. Sports Scene will continue after these messages.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet. Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Your family and their safety are your number one priority. Your home, your business, and quality of life provide peace of mind. Your security can be enhanced with the proper firearms and ammo from Battlefield Guns and Ammo. Never take anything for granted, whether you're at home or away. Call 757-410-7720, log on to battlefield-guns.com, and visit Battlefield Guns and Ammo at 240 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake. The place to go for U.S. rare coins is Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake. They specialize in U.S. and silver and gold coins and provide free verbal offers and are always buying U.S. rare coins. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, open Tuesday through Saturday and always online at newcastlecollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles.
Excellent Italian food is found at Spaghetti Eddie's, a neighborhood restaurant with a great family atmosphere and delicious Italian cuisine. Define Spaghetti Eddie's. New York-style pizza, pasta, subs, calzones, soups, salads will bring you back again and again. Log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com and visit them at Greenbrier and Western Branch. Quality Italian food is at Spaghetti Eddie's.
Let's get back to Greg Bigoveris and Sports Scene on 1650 WHKT.
But first, let me take a selfie.
All right, welcome back right here to Sports Scene, right here live on the radio each Wednesday from 12 to 1, right here on News Talk 1650 at Greg Bickle on Twitter with Ken Johnson up until 1 o'clock when you're home for CBS News in Hampton Roads. Of course, our guest right here coming up, Scott Cash. We've had him on before several times on the radio when I worked in the past for Red Zebra. We want to welcome Scott Cash from Channel 13, been part of Channel 13's lineup since the late 80s. Scott, my friend, how are you today?
I'm doing great, Greg. How you doing?
Good for a Wednesday at a convenient hour, Scott. Convenient time for radio right now.
Convenient because
it's the 12 o'clock hour. It's people are on their way to lunch. They're not working.
Good move. Yeah, right. Exactly.
And it's not too early, Scott. And it's not too late. It's just right.
It's not too early. I got up, like an hour and a half ago, so that's great.
Yep. Well, let me ask you.
I wasn't working last night.
Oh, you weren't? Okay. Well, let's get right to it. Of course, Scott. I got to ask you too. A lot of people have asked me this too because they go on YouTube and we archive a lot of our shows on TV and radio there. You worked when you first got to Channel 13 with a lot of legends. Let me ask you one, including Jim Kincaid, the late Jim Kincaid. Did you ever work with Joe Folks, the late weatherman?
Yeah, Joe was there when I was there. As a matter of fact, when I came in to do my interview for my job, he was the first person I saw on the air in Hampton Roads. Joe Folks, the legendary Joe Folks, with a little salute at the end of the broadcast.
Absolutely. And, of course, Kathy Barnstorff and so many good people at Channel 13. Let me ask, before we get into the interview, how has it changed, Scott, when you first got there? Because back in the 80s, there was really no internet. There was no email. It was really the Daily Press, the Virginia Pilot, radio, TV, magazines, and that was pretty much it. Now it's 500 TV channels, millions of radio channels, Sirius, there's Facebook, there's Twitter. The audience is shrinking for everybody. It's almost like what Jim Rome said several years ago, you got to feed the beast. Everybody's just trying to feed the beast, whether it's online, radio, TV, print. It's amazing.
Well, you got to find your niche.
Yeah.
And certainly, when I was first in this business in the early '80s, cable was just new.
Mm-hmm.
So we garnered the market. Our ratings were very high, and now, then the ESPN was even relatively new back when I was first in the business. So now, ESPN is so much of everything on a national level that our niche is to find the local angles that we can and do as much local stuff as we can.
Sure.
And then that's because obviously, and even find some of the sports that you won't get headlines on ESPN, whether it's UVA or Virginia Tech getting hot, or even NASCAR, which ESPN does a pretty good job of, but we try to do more of that than normal, just because we know we got a strong NASCAR fan base here. Mm-hmm. And of course, the Redskins get a lot of attention as well. So, we think we found our niche, and it works. A lot of other things have changed. You mentioned the social media, which I'm still not as good at as I should be, but, we're pounding that. Mm-hmm. And for me, just from the work standpoint, the digital age has been a godsend in that we used to do everything on tape, for instance, and now we just have a disc that we use. We put in the camera a little card, and we can, like, if I go to Redskins training camp, let's say.
Sure.
Theoretically, I could do all of it myself, including the live shot, and people have done that. You take I can take the camera, I can take the tripod, I can shoot a stand-up of myself out in the field with the camera. I can do the interviews. I can edit it. We take the card out and put it in the laptop computer, and then edit it on the laptop, and then via the internet send it back to the station so they would have it. And we even have the new technology with live trucks, live shots, is backpack live shot capabilities. And I literally mean a backpack. It's a use of several cell phone modems that you connect with using all of your stuff that's in a backpack, and you just find where there's cell phone use availability. You can create a live shot. You can do a live shot. So whoever that was that did it for Saturday Night Live, was that Joe Piscopo that did that?
I don't know.
Anyway, he had the whole thing set up. You could literally do the whole thing yourself.
Right. We're talking to Scott Cash right here from Channel 13. This is Sports Scene every Wednesday live right here on the radio, News Talk 1650. Also, tunein.com. Type in WHKT, and it's amazing, Scott. People can listen to this show on their phone, on their laptop. And, of course, the younger generation is. And, of course, you take it to go. Life is so mobile. That's what's good about radio and online TV and so many things. And, of course, where you live out in the peninsula, I'm not going to tell people exactly where you live at. I do know. But you're close to the Redskins training camp. You got the NASCAR race twice a year, and you got the golf. You got the golf event that just happened, last month in Kingsmill. What were your thoughts? It seemed to me, Scott, it's like they're living now off the name and the legacy there. The buzz definitely is worn off. It's still a nice event. Yeah, Christy,
the LPGA.
Yeah, as far as the LPGA, it doesn't have the niche to me as the men's tournament did.
I hate to call it just another LPGA event, but they're just a step above any other LPGA event. They're not. They're above average.
Sure.
Just because they're still living on the name, and the ladies really do. They're not just saying, they really do love coming here. They would love coming here a whole lot more if the purse was anywhere near where it used to be.
Sure.
And that's the big problem. They got to find a sponsor, a title sponsor. I mean, Kingsmill has stepped up to do it on their own for the next couple of years, but they need a whole lot more money into the purse. Whereas before, when the purse was one of the top 5 purses, maybe even top 3 purses on the LPGA Tour, they would get 49 out of the top 50, 98 out of the top 100.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not exaggerating. This time, I think they had 39 of the top 50, which is not bad. The LPGA does a pretty good job of making sure their players get and play in the events, particularly the ones in the States.
And I don't want to take this for granted, too, because I grew up here as a kid here on the peninsula and the south side both. And Orion Burkhart and Johnny Bender put that event on the map, and they've changed a lot with tournament directors ever since then. And you need a good tournament director. They have excellent tournament directors now, but those two really put it on the map, Scott. You know that firsthand.
Well, they certainly did put it on the map, but I don't want to take anything away from what they got now. Wayne Noe is not necessarily your tournament director anymore, but he's the man he's the go-to guy there.
Sure.
And he's done a tremendous job with what they've got. I think they did a stellar job taking over the LPGA and getting that on the map, back on the map. I just think I don't think it's so much the tournament directors as it is the purse.
Yeah, but I'm a big fan of Wayne. We've had him on here several times in TV as well. Great guy. A few more. Let's go over some nuggets here, of course. On your network tomorrow, I guess, will you be working late after the NBA Finals, Scott? God.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have sleep apnea, Scott? I mean, my goodness, the Heat Spurs, with all the TV timeouts and commercials, that game could well past go midnight.
Oh, for sure. That's about when it will end, about midnight.
Yeah.
And then we'll do our news and get on at, I'll get home at 1:30. But, my kids are away. I can sleep in. It doesn't really matter to me so much anymore.
Sure. You're living the life right now.
I get that included in my show, where the other two stations can't include highlights in their show because you can't show highlights until the game is over.
Well, Channel 3 doesn't even do sports anymore. I mean, what in the name of Stan Garfin is going on over there? My God. Stan's nuts, though. He is just literally nuts now. But I mean that in a funny way, guys. But we've had him on the show here several times. But, Channel 3, the home of the Masters, the home of the Final Four, doesn't even do sports anymore. That's just ridiculous.
Well, CBS has got a lot of fine sports properties.
Sure.
So it is unsettling that they don't have sports there. But a lot of stations who are number 3 in the ratings race have done away with sports just to see, what they can make happen without it. And they have made some strides. But even ratings aside, I think it's just a measure of public service. I mean, giving the public what they need and deserve, and I think they deserve to have a sportscast in there.
Yeah, it's more now.
We have 90 minutes of news right now.
Sure.
And we get 2 minutes at 6 o'clock. But at least we get 2 minutes, and people get what they want to see in that 2 minutes. We get 3 minutes and 10 seconds at 11, so much better. But I think we can serve people and give them what they deserve. I think they deserve a sportscast.
Yeah, that's not a lot of time, but you make the most of it. Talking to Scott Cash, this is Greg Bicoveris. This is Sports Scene. We have an hour here up until 1 o'clock right here on News Talk 1650. A privilege to be with you every Wednesday right here on this show. And of course, you talk about the niche. I do a lot of stage managing work, and I'm working for Fox this weekend in Baltimore at the A's game. And you talk about that shrinking market, Scott. It's firsthand, like Mike Francesa's show, some friends of mine that work at WFAN in New York, that's on Fox Sports 1 and Fox Sports 2. They're shrinking too because you got the NHL network, you got the NBA network, you got the NFL network, the Golf Channel. I know you love the Golf Channel, the tennis channel showing the French Open, the MLB network. I mean, there's so many networks, and no wonder the ratings are so low across the board, pretty much except for ESPN. People are so trained even just to say the words ESPN.
Well, that's a fact. I mean, it's a pretty big pie, but there's a whole lot of slices.
Yeah. You're not kidding. And, of course, they're all trying to get a niche market right there. Let's go over some nuggets here real quick here as well while we got you on the radio here as well. NHL Finals, any thoughts on the Rangers, L.A., top 2 TV markets, if nothing else, on NBC?
I don't know enough. I mean, I know some hockey. I don't know enough to really make a bold prediction on this, although I'm rooting for the Rangers just because they haven't won in 20 years, and I like the original 6 teams. But the Kings, I mean, they win 3 Game 7s on the road. That's ridiculous. I would imagine if I had to predict who was going to win, I'd say the Kings, just because they're riding the high.
Sure. Scott, I got to get your thoughts on this. This is an issue in Hampton Roads across the board. Of course, number one, the king here during the summer is the oceanfront. You know that. Your people are out there covering it all the time. They do a great job. Of course, the police beat, the state police beat, the whole 9 yards. You guys do an excellent job covering the news. But you look at the attendance. I went to a Tides game. I've got my media pass, but I went as a fan with some friends a few weeks ago. It was a day off. It was a holiday. It was a Monday. Oh, my goodness, Scott, the attendance there, you could literally count the people going to Norfolk Tides games now. It's really, really sad. They can't hide it either. And I'm wondering, is it the money? Is it the economy? Is it the gas prices? But they're not going to be able to draw people from your neck of the woods to go to Norfolk like maybe they used to 10 or 20 years ago.
Well, they're drawing 4, 6, 2, 8 right now. And one school at that, they always do much better. I mean, you go in April and May, it's always kind of a crapshoot going to a Tides game anyway, as far as attendance is concerned.
Sure.
But, and usually it makes no difference whether they're good or bad.
No.
People just want to go for the experience. Now, having said that, I mean, yes, they've won 4 in a row, but they were 15 games under 500, and we weren't even done May yet. It would help if they had a winning team and had one of the other things that you got going on there is I think, let's talk prospects. So many times, AAA has changed now over the last 20 years. I mean, how many times you see prospects just jump from AA up to the major leagues? It happens all the time. Manny Machado for the Orioles. I mean, Crockett, who just went up from Pecosian, jumped from AA. I mean, he's back down AAA now, but he jumped up right to the major leagues. So there's not a whole lot of big-time prospects at AAA. And I think that would draw more fans as well.
But even the Admirals didn't draw well in the playoffs at home.
Again, it's going to sound like I'm making excuses. Well, okay, then I am. I mean, when you have the playoff season, you don't have your season ticket base. Let's say the Admirals, I don't know what they drew this year. Let's say it was 4,000 average. I don't know. I would bet that about half of that is season ticket holders.
Sure.
Now, when you get to the playoffs, the season ticket holders, I mean, yes, they may show up, but they're buying tickets per game. They're not guaranteed seats there. I mean, they are guaranteed seats. What I'm saying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I got you.
The season ticket holders don't have tickets for each game as part of their season ticket plan, so they got to repurchase.
Well, Scott, in all due respect, you said over 4,000 for the Tides. That might be true for season ticket holders counting that. But if you count the people that actually go to a Monday or Tuesday game, it's nowhere near that amount. They're not going to the games for whatever reason. The season ticket holders are buying them. They're buying them for their sponsors, their friends, their neighbors, for themselves, but they're not physically going to the games those nights.
That's true, but I'm not going to play that game.
No, I know.
You got all the season ticket holders.
Oh, I know.
I mean, that's part of the whole deal, but there's no doubt what you're saying is correct.
Yeah, absolutely, my friend.
There are a lot of empty seats, and I know because we go shoot highlights of all those games.
And the TV networks,
a lot of empty seats.
And the TV networks always tell us don't ever show empty seats. And we'll see if Old Dominion gets the NCAA women's tournament in 15. Your thoughts coming up. Of course, we'll get you on again here, but the O's and Nats, they seem to be hanging around. Nobody really wants that AL East. The Yankees are struggling themselves.
Well, I think in the AL East, the Blue Jays have certainly played a pretty strong card here. Whether they got a 5-game lead, 7-game or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know that their pitching's going to hold up, though. Mm-hmm. Man, they can hit the ball. They can score runs. There's no doubt about that. But they might hang on. I wouldn't be surprised if they do hang on. And as far as the Washington Nationals go, if they can just hang around until everybody gets healthy, which is exactly what they're doing. Mm-hmm. Maybe they'll be fine. Mm-hmm. The Braves, I mean, 3/5 of their starting rotation was gone by the first week of the season?
Yeah.
I think the Nationals, in my mind, are the favorites still to win the NL East.
Just a lot of injuries. I want to get your final thought, too, about that. We've heard a lot of talk. How much fruition, how much truth is that minor league team coming to Virginia Beach? And what are your thoughts about an arena, Scott? Like I said, I'm getting to the point if people can't afford, for whatever reason, to go to an Admirals or Tides game on a consistent basis, I'm talking sellout, Scott, for a lot less than a big arena would do. That's one thing. I know they talked about the arena a lot. We talked about it a lot last year when we were a sports station as well. And I'm wondering your thoughts about, can they support it full time? We do very well with tennis events here when Andy Roddick came here, or Blake or Serena Williams or the Kings Mill event or the NASCAR in Richmond, but we're a niche event. We did well with Sweet Pea Whitaker's boxing matches when Larry Holmes came here back in 2002, but to do it full time and sustain, we watch it on TV like you said, but to attend is another story.
Well, I think two things there. It's a venue for many other entertainment events, which I'm sure they'll do a pretty good job of filling with that. But I still don't see it as a go unless they get some kind of major league team.
Sure.
And I could see the area supporting. I mean, major league team and minor league sports are apples and oranges. Mm-hmm. Totally. I mean, it's apples and fruitcake. I mean, it's totally different.
Yeah.
So I could see the area supporting a major league franchise. Not that I see that happening anytime soon. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's a big if.
Well, what about the other minor league team in Virginia Beach talking about coming here, or whatever they're going to be called for next year?
The one in Virginia Beach?
Yeah, that doesn't have an arena yet.
Yeah, that's going to happen. That's going to happen, and they'll probably get some summer crowd, and they'll probably turn a profit. I don't think there'll be any great guns. It's going to be an independent league. You know, the Tides have rights to the entire area as far as minor league goes, so they can't have an affiliation with another team.
Yeah.
But independent league teams can get some interesting players, though.
Sure.
That might be worth watching.
And the Pilots have over the years in the Coastal Plain League as well, in Hampton.
Mm-hmm.
They've done well. Scott, thanks for your time, my friend. We'll talk again. Always enjoyed seeing you at events and talking to you. And I met you when I was in college, when I was doing college radio, so you've known me longer than anybody in this market, my friend.
Let me just get one last thing in.
Sure.
Jordan Spieth.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Hey, we'll get some more golf on. Hey, one more. Hey, no, you brought that up now. I used to do the golf show. Bring that up too, Scott. No Tiger Woods. I know NBC is not happy about that either. They thought they were going to get Tiger for the U.S. Open.
Yeah, that's not so good for TV purposes. But they do got Phil Mickelson, who's a subject of insider training work, and you got Rory McIlroy, who's got love problems. I mean, you got different storylines, but you don't have Tiger.
No.
But you do have Jordan Spieth, who's going to win it.
Yeah. Well, you guys got some of the best reporters there in the business, Scott. I'm talking on the news side as well in the sports, and keep up the good work. And your weather there is second to none as well. So thank you, and always enjoy talking to you, my friend.
Appreciate it, Greg. It's wonderful being on with you again today.
Always a pleasure. All right, Kenny, that was Scott Cash right there from Channel 13, always adding some local insight. And the big thing, too, is like I said earlier, feeding the beast. And you and I have talked about it. There's so much media. Everybody's got a podcast, a blog. Everybody's on YouTube now. Everybody's a media member, even your kids, Kenny.
Yeah. Oh, anybody can be on. All you have to do is start a blog, post something on YouTube, and being an instant celebrity sometimes. But you have a better chance of it. Whereas before, you had to be more or less credentialed, I guess. You had to be in authority. You had to be in a position where somebody would say, yes, that's a real media person. Now, just Joe and Jane Citizen. And as you said, even the kids.
And anybody can act like it for 20 hours a week as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, we've got some good stuff coming up. A familiar name and a familiar voice coming up in the next half hour. For you longtime radio listeners here in Tidewater, you're going to recognize the voice, you're going to recognize the name. I look at one of the local businesses coming up, and I'm sure there's got to be something, there's always got to be something that tees Greg off. We'll find out what that is coming up in the next half hour as well, so keep it right here for Sports Scene on K-Talk 1650. All right, now no major issues. Let's take a look around at the traffic. Don't see anything going on out there. We've got a 1 o'clock scheduled opening for the James River Bridge on 17, and we've got some road work going on in a variety of places. I see some trucks and things up there by Mallory Street, 64 West, so exercise caution through there. Scattered thunderstorms tonight, 70. Scattered thunderstorms tomorrow with a high of 84. And then for the weekend, sunny skies for Friday, 76. Partly cloudy Saturday, 79. 80 degrees and sunshine for Sunday. CBS News is next. It's 12:31.
CBS News Update. I'm Steve Kaith, and the Obama administration briefs all 100 U.S. senators later today on the deal that freed Bo Bergdahl. CBS's Nancy Cordes.
You have some Democrats who are in tough elections who see some political benefit from showing that they are holding the administration's feet to the fire on various issues.
Today, the Taliban released video of the Bergdahl handover last weekend. CBS's Margaret Brennan.
Flanked by 2 Taliban militants, Bo Bergdahl walked towards 3 members of U.S. Special Forces. The Taliban hold up a white flag, and U.S. Special Forces approach with their arms in the air.
CBS News military analyst Jeff McCausland says there are plenty of questions about what happened before he fell into Taliban hands.
One question would be, what was his psychological health at that particular moment? Difficult to ascertain now 5 years later, but that's part of an investigation will be ongoing.
CBS News Update. I'm Steve Kathan.
Old Town Tavern in the heart of Phoebus is your place for a great lunch and dinner. A local place in every sense of the word, specializing in fresh seafood, burgers in a basket, crab cakes, salads, appetizers, and much, much more. Open 7 days a week, Old Town Tavern has live music, pool tables, darts, HD TVs, in a spacious and pleasant atmosphere. They have daily lunch specials, live music, and entertainment. Find Old Town Tavern on Facebook and visit them at 31 East Mellon Street in the Phoebus section of Hampton, with plenty of great parking in the back. Call 251-2636. That's 251-2636. Serving seafood, sandwiches, salads, wings. You can't beat Old Town Tavern. Bringing good food and great people together in the Old Town of Phoebus. Old Town Tavern in Phoebus, the locals' choice.
The place to go for U.S. rare coins is Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake. They specialize in U.S. and silver and gold coins and provide free verbal offers and are always buying U.S. rare coins. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, open Tuesday through Saturday and always online at NewcastleCollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles.
People in Chesapeake and Hampton Roads have come to expect the finest Italian food at Spaghetti Eddie's. In addition to great lunch and dinner served daily, this fine establishment caters to and can host your party. Call 484-7301 for their Taylor Road location and call 410-5500 for their restaurant in Greenbrier. For more, log on to SpaghettiEddiesPizzaCafe.com.
It's now time for Greg's Highlights on Sports Scene, presented by DJBTV.com Marketplace Sponsors page.
And want to thank Scott Cash right there for our first guest right here on Sports Scene, live right here on the radio, right here at 12:35. Stay tuned for Pat Murphy coming up in just a few moments. Greg Bicoveris along with Ken Johnson as well. Don't forget GJBTV.com marketplace sponsors, and a big website announcement coming up soon will be HamptonRoadsOnlineMall.com. It's not up yet, but it will be very soon. But right now, GJBTV.com marketplace sponsors. Click the YouTube link on the homepage for previous archive shows as well. Shop on the marketplace sponsors 1, 2, and 3. Save the date each Wednesday from 12 to 1 right here for Sports Scene as well. And don't forget our good friends in Williamsburg as well. Business Spotlight as well coming up a little bit later. What teased me off, sports highlights on NNPSTV.com. NBA Finals, Heat, Spurs, NHL Finals, of course, with the Rangers in LA as well. For more, log on to GJBTV.com. A lot of good stuff coming up. Radio, TV at its finest right here. This is Sports Scene on TuneIn.com. Type in WHKT in the search box, folks. It's so easy. And, of course, News Talk 1650 AM. Stay tuned.
Nor'easter season is here, so don't get all wet.
Protect your house. Call Crawl Space Door Systems at 363-0005. Reduce your flood insurance, reduce the threat of mold and insects, and save energy. Crawl Space Doors, air vents, flood vents, vent covers, and fans can help you stay dry or get you dry quickly. Contact Crawl Space Doors for more information at 363-0005 or online at crawlspacedores.com. Stay dry, my friends.
Be seeking rare and valuable coins? Storm the Castle Matey. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake, that is. Silver and gold coins, U.S. coins with free verbal offers, and they always be on the lookout for those rare U.S. coins. Set sail for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, Tuesday through Saturday, and always online at NewcastleCollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles. Summer is here, and so are the Norfolk Tides. Catch the fun and excitement as your Norfolk Tides take the field at beautiful Harbor Park. Bring your friends and family to root on the Orioles of tomorrow today. Log on to NorfolkTides.com for more information on season tickets, groups, ticket discounts, and Tides merchandise. And don't forget to follow the Tides on Twitter and Facebook for up-to-date promotions and team information. Tides Baseball, minor leagues, major fun. Let's get back to Greg Bicoveris and Sports Scene on 1650 WHKT.
I see you move, I'm checking your smile, working your back like...
All right, welcome back right here live on the radio, News Talk 1650, your home for CBS News. Greg Bicoveris, glad you're with us. For more of my background, go to GJBTV.com. Well, this person's background, he's been in radio and TV since the 70s and beyond, of course. I'm talking about one of the legendary voices in southeastern Virginia. Worked with him before at another radio station, so did my good friend Ken Johnson. Of course, he made these three statements very, very funny over the years. Mary Sue Terry is not accessible. Sugar-coated DJs. And thanks for making the switch. With that said, listen, welcome Pat Murphy. How are you, Pat?
And I used to say, up with the cows to milk the public, too.
Exactly. First of all, how are you doing, Pat?
I'm doing good. Thanks for pulling me out of retirement.
Very good, very good. Let's talk over some topics here, right here on the radio, of course, News Talk 1650. I want to say this to you because you are a radio and a TV guy both. You've started off way back in the day at Channel 5. It's amazing how radio now is come alive again with the mobile society, everybody on the go, online. You can listen to a show on the phone. So everything is really transparent, almost like it used to be.
It's getting close. I think people are coming back to the fact that they need radio. Radio is this magic gift from God that has allowed us to reach out and to touch millions of people, and all from one single source, the radio station, and it's pretty neat. I'm glad to see it happen.
Absolutely. Talking to Pat Murphy right here. This is Greg Bicoveris on Sports Scene at 1240 on News Talk 1650. Over some topics. Pat, I got to ask you, I was joking about you always giving Mary Sue Terry a hard time about being accessible, but you know what? You are way ahead of your time, and let me tell you why. Now people hide behind emails, they hide behind text messages, they hide behind their staff, and they hide behind Facebook and Twitter. Now they have all these internet walls to avoid interaction. It's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
You were ahead of your time.
Well, I don't know if I was ahead of my time. There are plenty of people that were hammering politicians before me. Joe Pine's name comes to mind, but there are plenty of people that were saying, look, politicians only want to talk to you when it's time to vote.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Well, let's talk about some topics here in Hampton Roads. You always used to get on the 25-cent tolls back in Virginia Beach. I remember as a kid trying to get over to Rosemont Road. Ken, you know that firsthand as well. And the 10-cent tolls getting off the side roads. Now, it seems like, especially Portsmouth's got a lot of issues right there off 664 and 164. I know the state police monitor all the time. And really, it's become a joke, Pat, because they get these bills in the mail, and they're totally wrong. And we're barely starting tourist season yet.
Well, that whole deal was corrupt from the beginning. That was a Bob McDonnell deal, and it was at least at one point it was suspended because the Judge Kales there in Portsmouth said the General Assembly shouldn't have conceded its constitutional authority to tax and enter into an agreement with private entities. In other words, private entities are taxing the people of Virginia. That was overthrown by the Supreme Court, but I think at some point that will be overthrown and thrown out, and I don't know where it's going to end up once it is, but I still think the tolls are illegal.
We're talking to Pat Murphy. This is Sports Scene. Greg Bicoveris, glad you're with us. Of course, we evolve. We talk all topics here, and of course, that's a great point. But the fact that bills are coming wrong, something is wrong there. I don't know what's going on, but I knew there would be some hiccups along the way. But there really have been a lot, and it really is just going to get worse before it seems like it's going to get better.
Let me give you 4 letters that explain the complete disaster. VDOT, VDOT. Anything VDOT has their fingers in is going to be a disaster. And one of the things that comes to mind is for the past 30 years, VDOT's been saying we don't have any money for roads, but they had $4 billion. I'm not making that number up, and really it's probably more. $4 billion to put cameras up and electronic signs, most of which don't work, but they didn't have money for roads, and now that they're managing the tolls, give me a break.
And you're exactly right. Not to mention the shelf life is going to come to an end eventually from Yorktown to Gloucester. But let me say this to my audience as well, that the people on the peninsula will not pay the tolls to go to Gloucester on a regular basis unless they work there or vice versa. Gloucester is not getting the tourist traffic from the peninsula or south side, number one, because of the tolls on the south side. Now the tolls on the peninsula too. That doesn't help either.
No, and I really think that these tolls are going to be a death knell for those merchants in downtown Portsmouth, and I know the Mayor Wright had been fighting it there in Portsmouth, and pretty much every politician, God bless Johnny Giuliano and Patrick Sweeney, former Republican Party chair, they have fought this tooth and nail, and I don't think the fight's over, because if, in fact, McDonnell is found guilty of taking this money from this promoter, this vitamin salesman, if he's found guilty, which I think there's a good chance of that, I think it brings into question every other deal that McDonald entered into, and I think it'll put it up for review.
That's what I want to ask you. We're talking to Pat Murphy right here. Greg Bicoveris, glad you're with us. 1244 live right here on News Talk 1650. Phil Hamilton is behind bars. He was a former elected official, not getting out anytime soon, represented Newport News. What are your thoughts about the former Governor McDonnell? Not only him, but his wife as well.
Well, let me say about Phil. Phil was a wonderful guy. I don't think what he did was right, but it certainly wasn't worth the prison time that he got. There's people walking out on the street that have shot other people that didn't get as much time as Phil Hamilton got. McDonnell, the one thing that sticks out in my mind, Bob McDonnell standing and being self-righteous, saying that the government of Virginia has to live within its means like the people of Virginia do. Well, clearly he wasn't doing that.
Mm-hmm. And not to mention, what are your thoughts too? You're speaking of about the crime. The unfortunate issue this past weekend with the Norfolk police officer and the kid, both getting killed by some thug with a gun. Of course, it's not the guns that kill the people; it's the people that do. But still, there are going to be people that are going to really be outraged by this even more. And anytime this happens, it escalates.
It was a failure of the criminal justice system. He had been let out on probation twice previous. The second offense that he had broke his previous probation, but they let him out on another probation. So that's a failure of the criminal justice system, not a need to regulate firearms.
Yeah, and back to McDonald, I think my personal opinion, Pat, is I think he will get off. I think, though, he's going to be major fine, major warnings, major reprimands, and just because he's the governor, I think they're not going to give him a pass by no means. But he's really lucky. I mean, this could get really uglier before it gets prettier.
Well, of course, he says he didn't know what his wife was doing, and
sure.
I go back to when I was doing the talk show, and he would come in to be on the air, and I mean, she was like glue on him.
Yeah.
Those two were inseparable, and anybody that has been around them knows that one didn't do anything without the other knowing about it. So there's just a lot that was very wrong about that, and letting this guy pay for weddings, and I know if my wife came home with a $15,000 Rolex watch, I'd be asking a lot of questions.
You would ask a lot of questions if she brought a $15 watch. Exactly. I don't blame you, Pat. Talking to my good friend Pat Murphy, Greg Bicoveris, glad you're with us. We all three used to work together. Ken Johnson, myself, and Pat all together at another place at another time. But Pat, I'm going to ask you too. As a kid growing up, I used to watch Larry King. I had him on the radio one time 3 years ago. Of course, you're familiar with him as well.
Yep.
Put CNN on the map from 85 to 2010. CNN was way above MSNBC, CNBC, and Fox News Channel. What the heck has happened to CNN?
Oh man, they have no direction. They are rudderless, and of course, doing what we do for a living, we consume a lot of information, and I think what news and political junkies be careful what you wish for, I guess is what I'm saying, because now everything is instantaneous. It used to take sometimes weeks for news to travel across country, and it gave a chance for that to settle down a little, and now it's instantaneous, and I just think CNN has fallen all over itself. Of course, MSNBC is so far to the left that it's not funny, and Fox is to the right, and there just really isn't anything that truly is fair and balanced.
Yeah, and Piers Morgan was a disaster on CNN. He did not relate to nobody.
What we need is some Brit to be shaking his finger in our face, telling us that our laws and Constitution need to be changed.
And not to mention this too, Pat. I mean, here we are starting the World Cup, and we're putting these events in these third world countries that can't even handle their own neighborhoods. Yet, I mean, the World Cup, Pat, is right near the Amazon River, for God's sake, where there's huge anacondas. And, folks, I'm not kidding you. You have to get there by going on some river. What are they doing? And they're putting an Olympics in places they cannot host them.
Yeah, money talks.
Yeah. Well, look at Russia. Putin was all quiet during the Olympics. Now look at him ever since Ukraine.
Oh yeah. Well, he got attention, and clearly he didn't know how to handle the attention.
Yeah. Final topic I want to bring up to you, Pat. There was a drowning in Virginia Beach this past weekend. As we're talking to Pat Murphy right here on Sports Scene, with a pedestrian right there in the water, of course, and the lifeguards didn't service that area. But for the second weekend for Resort City, to me that's inexcusable. I'm sorry, and it's a black eye to Virginia Beach. Of course, I love that ocean, but still.
No, I disagree with you.
Why is that?
Well, for one thing, the red flags have been up, and the red flags mean stay out of the water.
Yeah.
The lifeguard was, there's a stand at 57th Street is where the lifeguard was.
Sure.
This drowning took place at 61st Street. I mean, you can't be everywhere all the time. And when does personal responsibility come into this? And on top of that, when the lifeguard did get there, it took 3 of them to pull this guy out of the water. I mean, if you're going to be overweight and go out in the red flags, I'm sorry. There has to be some personal responsibility for going out when there's a red flag up.
Yep, I totally agree with that, too. I'm just saying, I just wish, since it wasn't as busy as Memorial Weekend, we could have possibly saved it. But you're right. You got to take personal responsibility as well. Pat, thanks a lot, my friend, and we will look.
Did I upset enough people and
no, but
alienate enough folks for you?
No, but the people near the Rosemont, Virginia Beach will never forget you with those tolls back then. Ken, you want to say anything?
You left out light rail, man.
Oh.
That's another show.
Oh, my God.
We'll get to it.
On that. All right, guys.
Hey, Pat, one more thing. By the time I took the Tide, I would probably be in Richmond before I even got on the Tide. But anyway, have a good day, my friend.
I think the Redskins being in Richmond, they're home at last. Home at last. Home at last.
All right, last question. Will they have a winning record in 2014?
I pray they do.
Okay. Thank you, Pat. All right, my friend.
All right. Talk to you guys later. Thanks, Ken.
Always a pleasure. Okay.
Thanks, Greg.
All right. Thank you. All right. Pat Murphy right there. Ken Johnson. We both work for him. I know I worked with him for 6 years. And you, my friend, how many years?
Oh, my goodness. He hired me in 88, and I forgot when things changed over there. But he hired me at a little gas station turned Italian restaurant on Princess Anne Road over by Ingleside Park is where we talked it over.
I started over at Dominion Tower where they're at now. But, yeah, those were the good old days. But, Ken, thank you. And, of course, we'll come back right after these messages.
Fink's Car Care, with locations in Chesapeake and Portsmouth, is your dedicated Tire Stars dealer. At Fink's, their experienced staff specializes in brakes, steering, suspension, tune-ups, oil changes, and much more. They also handle rebuilt engines and transmissions, and they're your destination for tires, rims, and towing as well. Fink's is located at 2236 South Military Highway at 2711 Victory Boulevard. For more information, log on to finkscarcare.com or call 545-3573.
The place to go for U.S. rare coins is Newcastle Coins and Collectibles in Chesapeake. They specialize in U.S. and silver and gold coins and provide free verbal offers and are always buying U.S. rare coins. Newcastle Coins and Collectibles, 681 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake, across from Chesapeake General, open Tuesday through Saturday and always online at newcastlecollectibles.com. Call 757-609-3633, 757-609-3633 for Newcastle Coins and Collectibles. Your family and their safety are your number one priority. Your homestead and your business and quality of life can give you peace of mind, but there are some bad hombres out there. Keep it all safe with the proper firearms and ammo from Battlefield Guns and Ammo. You can't take anything for granted, whether you're at the ranch or out on the trail. Call 757-410-7720. Log on to battlefield-guns.com and visit Battlefield Guns and Ammo at 240 North Battlefield Boulevard in Chesapeake.
Let's get back to Greg Bigoveris and Sports Scene on 1650 WHKT.
What is this I'm feeling?
And welcome back live right here on the radio on this beautiful Wednesday. My mom's birthday was today. And, of course, our good friend Doug Stump, the owner of the Egg Bistro, and his good friend and lifelong friend and partner at theeggbistro.com, is with us like he is a regular guest on here, talking about the Egg Bistro. Mike Toohey, how are you, Mike?
Doing good, buddy. How are you doing?
Very good. It is your buddy Doug's birthday. And, of course, you guys go back a long way, and I know you're excited too. But the Egg Bistro is constantly evolving. And, of course, now it's the summertime. What's going on, first of all, in Suffolk?
Suffolk, we got lots of new events going on. We just kicked off doing a team trivia on Thursday nights that coincides with some of our whiskey tastings and wine tastings and stuff like that.
And that'll be going on again tomorrow, too, as well, right?
Yeah, tomorrow. They start Thursday nights at 7 o'clock.
Is that every Thursday, Mike?
Every Thursday, correct.
Okay, and of course in Chesapeake, of course, they've been around there for almost 7 years, and that place really is just is really a standalone, one of the top restaurants in Virginia. And when you watch the Food Network, we just had the Newport News Greek Festival, that food shows, restaurants, good food, local restaurants that are not chains, people really gravitate to, and people that grow up in Hampton Roads really appreciate your two restaurants.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's where a lot of our clientele definitely comes from, people that want to see those local restaurants and not be involved in the regular chain type stuff.
Yeah, because it's always, you feel like you're part of the family as soon as you walk in. Let's talk about some of the menu items right now, both location. What's hot? You always have the chef special on Friday night.
Yeah, chef specials on Friday night, usually some type of fresh caught fish, fillets, different steak dishes. And then we also have a new daytime summer menu getting ready to come out for the lunchtime specials. Have a little bit of a lighter fare.
And, of course, the website's theeggbistro.com. It has a lot of text contests. You go to the website for all the text numbers as well, theeggbistro.com. Find both locations on Facebook. Folks, experience that breakfast and lunch 7 days a week, dinner Wednesday through Saturday. A lot of special events and occasions going on during the summer. Great wine tastings. I know you and Doug are very proud of the wine at the Egg Bistro as well over the years.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we pride ourselves on getting good and upcoming wines. A lot of stuff from the Dave Matthews Vineyard, Blenheim out of Charlottesville, and his other wine collaboration, Dreaming Tree.
Yep, and of course, people like the fact that they can have breakfast, Mike, pretty much all day, 7 days a week. Is that correct?
Yeah, all day. Starts at 7 a.m. until 3 p.m., 7 days a week.
Right, and of course, tonight is Wednesday night. What is the special tonight?
Special tonight is burger night. You can get a half-pound burger. We have 11 different varieties, gourmet-type burgers for $7.99 with fries.
And last thing, Mike, tell us a couple more popular items on the menu for dinner as well at either location.
Dinner, usually like the special nights. Thursday night we do a pound of steamed shrimp for $11.99. Friday, of course, the chef special, different every week. And Saturday we do a 10-ounce prime rib dinner with smoked Gouda mashed potatoes and a house salad for $11.99.
And, of course, you got meatloaf and some great chicken and pasta dishes and seafood as well, and steak, too.
Absolutely.
All right, Mike, thanks a lot. Give my best to Doug. Wish him happy birthday for me, and keep up the good work at theeggbistro.com.
Will do, buddy.
Thank you. All right. Mike Toohey right there, of course, always coming in, always batting 1,000 right here. Ken, let's get to What Tees Me Off.
What Tees You Off? Presented by GJBTV.com.
All right, Ken, people who interrupt other people's conversations.
What'd you say?
Yeah. People who interrupt other people's conversations at social events.
Oh, yeah.
You know that.
Especially if you're in a conversation with one or two people and you're engaged and then somebody comes in and immediately wants to jump in.
People walking in a social event, having a 2-minute chat with people you don't even like. That's even worse. Like having well, hey, so-and-so, good to see you again. What have you been up to? And you'll never speak to that person again until the next social event that you both happen to be invited to.
That's called good social graces if you can pull that off.
People who try to fool you in something you already know.
Oh, yeah. I see that quite a bit, don't I?
Yeah. The whole gun thing at fast food restaurants, you heard a lot about that this past week. The bottom line is it scares people, kids especially. You know that, Ken. I know it's a big dilemma, but it could be in a grocery store, a laundromat, anywhere. People even that are responsible, it still scares kids and women especially.
And that's a little bit of a shame. This country was founded with firearms, and the whole idea of the open carry and being able to carry firearms is for safety. So I guess we have gotten to the point where society sees guns as a bad thing instead of being a protection. At one point, you saw people carrying guns walking the street. Wasn't any big deal. In fact, you were kind of weird if you didn't have a gun. And now that the thing is flipped around 180, now you see a gun. Oh, there's a problem there. No, that's somebody who just believes in the Second Amendment, for goodness sake.
But the sad part is the thug that had the gun that killed the kid and the police officer in Norfolk should have never had a gun in the first place.
No, he shouldn't have. And it's all mental illness. I think they don't want him in the restaurants, though, just in case the chef cooks something really bad. They want to get plugged by an irate customer.
And not to mention the Hunger Games director's son, too. What a wacko he turned out to be.
They're always mental cases, and usually some kind of psychotropic drug is involved in that. No one's talking about that. They want to take the guns away. They don't want to talk about the mental illness or the drugs.
Yeah, and that's exactly why John Hinckley should not be out right now. But anyway, you know that story. All right, I want to thank our great guests. We had a really exciting show today. It'll be archived. Don't forget to go to gjbtv.com, hit the YouTube link. We had Scott Cash from Channel 13. We had Pat Murphy, former radio and TV host. Also, Mike Toohey giving us a menu talk with food talk and summertime menu at theeggbistro.com. Don't forget Udo Palace. Go to all the great sponsors right there on the homepage of gjbtv.com. Also, the marketplace sponsors. Don't forget forget sports highlights on nnpstv.com. Great event going on this weekend with the Orioles and the A's going on one of the Fox family of networks. So a lot of great stuff on TV. Got the NBA Finals, the NHL Finals, sports highlights interview show on nnpstv.com, gjbtv.com as well. And keep it right here on 1650 for more. Go to @GregBick on Twitter and gjbtv.com. For Ken Johnson, I'm Greg Bickaveris. Happy Wednesday. We'll talk to you soon.
Stay tuned for Remnant Radio up next on K-Talk 1650. Right now, take a look at traffic. Not a lot going on. No major incidents to report. Don't see any bridge openings on the schedule. We have those on-demands at the Berkeley Bridge possible up until the later on in the afternoon, but right now nothing going on there. You do have the downtown tunnel westbound closed overnight tonight, 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. They'll do it again this weekend, Friday and Saturday, 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. And then Chesapeake, the expressway southbound at the bridge, doing some road work there. Look out for some left lane closures. Mix of sun and clouds for the rest of the afternoon, 87 for the high. Scattered thunderstorms, low of 70. Cloudy, windy, scattered thunderstorms tomorrow with a high of 84. But then the weekend looks real nice. Mostly sunny Friday, 76. Partly cloudy Saturday, 79. And the outlook for Sunday, mostly sunny skies and a high of 80 degrees. Remnant Radio is up next on AM 1650 WHKT in Portsmouth. It's 1 p.m.